Hello and welcome to Adonis Trade Academy. This is Kings FX and we'll be going into our lecture for today. All right, today we'll be trying our best to help our beginners. When you open your chart, there are things to consider, right? There are basic things to consider in your trading. And that thing that you need to consider, first of all, you must have to know your support, your resistance, your demand zone, your supply zone. These are key things that you need to understand in your forex trading. So we'll be using Euro USD, all right, for our trading. I won't take you through a lot of routes to check higher time frame. We've not gotten there yet, so I will stick to this particular time frame. Now, what are we talking about? We have different things you must consider in the market. Whenever you open a market, there are a few things you must really understand. You must know your support zone, you must know your resistance zone. Okay, so straight to the point, what is a support zone? A support zone is a zone in the chart where price tends to push up when it touches there. All right, there's always a zone in the chart where whenever price touches there, it pushes it up. All right, so we can identify that yes, this zone is a support zone. All right, and different other zones. Okay, if I can continue to uh, take this thing. All right, I think this one doesn't like. Okay, so we have different zones. This is support zone. Okay, there are different support zones in the market, different support zones in the market. All right, so all we need to do is to identify those support zones. Like I said before, support zone, there are zones in the chart where market tends to push up. All right, so we can say this is a support zone. All right, so the reason why there are support zones is because whenever price got there, it pushes it up. Okay, so that is one way you can know your support zone. There are a lot of support zones in the chart or in the market. All right, so it's like a base, okay, in the chart. Whenever price gets there, it pushes it up. So these are the criteria to know your support zone. Okay, now supply zone is the opposite. All right, supply zone is a zone in the charts where price tends to push down um, in the market. Okay, so at supply zones, market is pushed down. All right, so these are just the little things to note in identifying your supply and your support zone in the market. Okay, there are a lot of supply zones, there are a lot of demand zones in the market, but it is paramount to understand the first concept. Okay, all right, I'm very sorry about that. Okay, as I was saying, your demand and your supply zone, support and your resistance. Another way you can really identify what I'm saying is support lines are like the base of the chart. They are more like the how would I okay I'm trying to use a very simpler version of words. Okay, they're like the foundation of a building. Okay, so what happens there is that when price gets there, it pushes it up. When price gets there, it pushes it up. All right, so this is the first concept. So at any time frame, if we keep going through different time frames, all right, we'll see different support and resistance zones in the market. All right, this is a support zone. All right, why? Because price got there and pushed it up. There are a lot of supply and demand zones. There are a lot of support and resistance zones also. All right, so this is it. And again, I told you that I will be helping you all through. When you enter a chart like this, there's no need getting confused. Let's use 1 hour. Okay, there's no need getting confused in the market. It's just to identify the nearest available support and resistance zone. Okay, so I'm going to clear this and start it again. Now we'll be using our trend line. Okay, this is trading view, so I'll be going through trading view and MT5, okay, or MT4. All right, so the way you draw your trend line, you must identify at least two supports and resistance zones for you to be able to know the direction of the market. Example rather. Let me try to clear this stuff off. All right. So now this market, the way it is, the first thing we must do, we must use our trend line and draw. When we draw our trend line like this area is area of support. This area is an area of support. All right, so we'll just write support. All right, so this is our area of support. We've gotten it. And this is our area of resistance, joining the two lines together. Okay, we can't really necessarily get the resistance yet, but okay, let's wait for market to show us something. So once we've drawn the area of support, what happens there? We're expecting that price will push up. From here we move up. All right, so if I decide to play this to see what the turn up will be, okay, you see price is pushing up at that zone. All right, so all we need to do is to adjust it, because okay, now we can get a clearer support and resistance zone. Okay, so we can now say that yes, this is our area of support, this our trend line is an area of support, and we'll use this trend line to know when the market is on a trending direction. That's why it's called a trend line. Okay, you use it to know the trend of the market. So the trend of the market is bullish, except this trend line is broken. All right, so market is bullish. All right, so we can tell that yes, market has been bullish. With our trend line, we are determining the direction of the market. All right, so this is just how to go through your trend line. Now the trend line is broken. All right, this trend line is broken. It means that the market is no more bullish again. It means the market cannot trend higher again. That is what it means. All right, so this area on top is an area of resistance. All right, so I think we'll type something also there. This is an area of resistance. Sorry. So this is our area of resistance. Good. So we have already determined that once your support is broken, that's what happens. Whenever your support line is broken, it will push price down. Okay, like what is happening here. Price broke through this angle, this trend line here. Okay, so since price broke through that line, good, now price has broken our trend line here, so we can actually tell that market is no more bullish. Okay, so we can expect that price will drop. All right, so okay, let's see the turnout. I'm trying to play to see what would happen. Okay, I think there's a little interruption with network there. Okay, yes, there's a little issue with my network. All right, okay, now you see what happened. Now the point there is, once the trend line is broken, the market will always retrace back. All right, and I don't want to take you through a lot of series to talk about why it went up here, why it didn't go up here. I just want you guys to understand the fact that once your trend line is broken, you should expect that markets will push down. Okay, so this is how to trade. We've understood this concept of support and resistance in this angle. It mustn't go forward. Okay, now also we can use our trend line also, or horizontal line, yes, to really determine area of support and resistance. Okay, so in this case we can say that this particular one is an area of support. Why? Because price got there, price got there and pushed up. All right, so we can tell. Okay, so I need to push this stuff over there. So we can tell that this is our area of support. Why? Because price got there and pushed it up. All right. Also, we can use our horizontal line to determine the area of resistance. Okay. So this area of resistance also could just be a point where price got there and pushed it down. So this is the concept of support and resistances. All right. So this is the concept. This is what support and your resistance line means. Okay, so in different places in the market we can really determine, imagine this support here, sorry about that. Okay, imagine this support at this zone also served as support. This support here, all right, served as support here. All right, serve as support. If you keep going through the chart, you realize that this particular zone will either serve as support and resistance. And there is another thing I want you to understand, that whenever a support line is broken, it forms a resistance on that particular line. All right, so whenever your support line is broken, market will it automatically becomes your resistance line. When a resistance line is broken, it automatically becomes a support line. What am I trying to say? In a case like this, good. Now, in a case like this exactly here, this is your support line, right? And this over here is your resistance line. Okay, now what happened was that price was moving through support, resistance, support, resistance. Now at the point where this was broken, let me go back a little bit. Good. I think I'll go lower so that we can get the view picture. Now, from our analysis and what we have been doing, we have already determined that this zone is a zone of resistance. So what happens on resistance zones? Price will push it down. What happens on support zone? Price will push up. All right, so at this resistance zone, price pushed it down. At the support zone, price pushed it up. Now price has broken through our resistance zone, and when your resistance zone is broken, it becomes your support zone. All right, so since this resistance zone was broken, it has become a support zone. That is a concept. So if I determine, or if I decide to play it out, you realize that I'm having issues with my network today. Okay, I think it should be better right now. Okay, it's better. So once it's broken the way it just did, all right, it just broke it out, just came back to retest, it became a support zone. That is the concept of support and resistance. Once your support zone is broken, it comes back to become your resistance. So when price gets there or touches there, it will push it up. But it doesn't always happen like that, and that is why we always try to learn. All right, so there's the first concept. Go to your trading view, or you go to your MT5 and you start trading it. You start checking your support and your resistance zone. What happens at every support zone, what happens at every resistance zone is just the concept. When a resistance zone is broken, price comes back to that particular zone, and that zone becomes a support for it, like what just happened here. Price is coming back and this zone is becoming a support zone for it. So what is happening? Price broke through our resistance, came up, came back to test it, it became a support zone, and it pushed the price back up. So that is just the concept of support and resistance. So I'll go to MT5 to check it out also for you, so that you will really understand how we trade Euro USD new chart. So 1 hour time frame. So this is the concept. All right, so once you come into any particular market, you must have to understand how to use your trend line, and it's very easy. This is your, once you press this tool here, this particular one, you open this bar. All right, so I'll clear everything. Clear everything so that once you come to this zone here, you tap it and see your horizontal line. You just sorry, your trend line rather. You tap your trend line, it comes out. You can draw anything you want to draw. So like I said, if you can join 2 to 3 resistance zones, the better. So I'm joining these ones together just to know my support zone. So obviously this has turned to support. All right, this is now my support zone. All right, so you can also use your horizontal line here also. Just tap it and just to know your resistance support zone. So this zone becomes your support, your support line. Okay, so this is how to make use of these tools. Okay, it's not hard. All right, it's not hard at all. Okay, so I will send I'll try to send other videos and watch other videos so that you know what we are talking about. But the first thing we want to understand here is the concept of support and resistances. Even if we go to a higher time frame, which is very advisable in terms of our trading, you must always go to a higher time frame to know what is happening in our higher time frames. All right, so the concept of support and resistance is very important. Okay, so we can also use our rectangle, this is our rectangle, just to get a particular zone of support and resistance. All right, so you can say that this is our support line. All right, we can go back to get more horizontal rectangles just to get our support and our resistance line. So once it's broken, it becomes something else. Okay, so this is this also for this, sorry, this initially was our support. Okay, so initially this was support, right? It pushed it up, so price came back to be testing that zone. It broke it, came back. So it was at this point, I'll zoom in a bit. So after the whole manipulations that happened there, this particular support became a resistance for it to drop this price down here and came back here and dropped it back again. Now it pushed up, it came back to test this zone, pushed it up again. So this is what happens at support and resistance line. We must always try to identify these zones in the market. If we cannot identify these zones, then we cannot really trade very well. Again, also using our trend line, we can come back, sorry about that, we can always come back to check our areas of support and resistances. I'm not so used to MT4, so all right, just to get what is happening in the market. All right, so this is from what it looks like here. We can easily identify that this market over here was on an uptrend before the uptrend was broken. So what happened there, price will come back, test, push up, test, push up, test, push up. So what happens is that once you see price here, you put a buy, comes back, put a buy, comes back, put a buy. So that is how to trade until it breaks your support line. Since the support line is broken, that was why price had to push it down to this level before going up again. All right, so this is how trading is all about. Okay, so for those who have not understood it, I can also explain more. Any question, I can be able to entertain them. All right, but today I just want us to understand the first concept, which is support and resistance line. All right, so I will entertain questions at the end of the day. Thank you.